Welcome to another unit in this VBA course. In this unit I'm going to talk about how we can make our if clause, so what we see here, a bit more professional, how we can extend this. Well, if we think back to how if clauses work in Excel, we might recall that we had the first part, which as here as well is the condition part. Then we had the then part. So what happens if the condition is fulfilled? Then we had another part. What happens if the condition is not fulfilled? So this was like the default part. This was the so-called else part. And this else part we can use here as well in a similar fashion. So here after the if part we just put an else. This is more or less the default situation. So for example here I can just go not the case. Display this message. So if not, both of them are positive and the output is positive, then I get a message not the case. So if I start this, see here I get message, calculate something. Well, obviously inputs are positive and output therefore is also positive. If however one of those values becomes negative, or I go for example here with lesser than, click OK, I see this is not the case. So here I have an alternative option, a fallback, a default option. However, that's not everything there is. I can also say, well, maybe I want to have alternative conditions. So maybe I want to check whether all of this is positive, or maybe I replace this here. I go with times. So maybe I want to have the situation that perhaps both of them are negative and the output is larger than 1. Could also be the case if I do multiplications. So I will have an additional condition here. So I go here with else if, and then I'm putting this additional condition here. So here I go with variable 1 smaller than 0, or variable 2 smaller than 0, and output being positive. Okay, that's not fully what I was aiming for because it's not an AND here as well, but well, could work as well. So if any one of those two is positive and the output is positive, he does the first part. If any one of those is negative and the output is positive, he does the second part. So here, for example, message box with a content of negative. Well, obvious here again, in this case it's positive, we would get the output. Let's change this. Let's go here to -3. Go back. If I then use this, I get not the case. Why not the case? Because the output is also negative. Because -3 times 4 gives -12. So I get in this case. If however I put a minus in front of both of them and start this program again, I get negative. Because then the output is positive and this case is fulfilled because this is either this is smaller than 0 or this is smaller than 0 or both of them. And well, that's obviously the case here. -3 times -4 gives a +12 as a result. And yeah, that's then all there is to this if else clause. And well, if you want to see more on VBA, on this type of course materials, feel free to visit the rest of the course or have a look at the corresponding playlist. I say goodbye and see you next time.